Most people don't realize that driving under the influence of drugs, including completely legal, over-the-counter drugs, can result in an arrest and a conviction of driving under the influence. The key element under Vehicle Code Section 23152A that must be proven to be convicted of a DUI is that the driver suffers some sort of mental or physical impairment such that he or she cannot drive with the same caution that would be exhibited by a sober person. This means it's possible to be convicted of driving under the influence of obvious drugs like marijuana and cocaine, but also drugs like NyQuil or even coffee if you've had so much that it impairs your ability to drive. This is why the old "I was drinking NyQuil" defense doesn't work, because if NyQuil is making you dizzy and making you sleepy, then you can be convicted of driving under the influence of NyQuil. People also make the mistake that if they were driving under the influence of a prescription drug, that the fact that the drug was prescribed by a doctor is a defense. Well, it's not, for the same reason. If you're taking a prescription drug and it's impairing your ability to drive, then you can be convicted of driving under the influence. Here's one important distinction that I want to point out. Unlike DUI cases that involve alcohol, DUI drug cases do not have a scientific objective test that will give you a numerical limit like 0.08% to determine impairment for drugs. And this can be really problematic because then a police officer's opinion and judgment on how well somebody performed field sobriety tests takes much greater weight and might be the key evidence against a person in a DUI drugs case. Another difference between drug and alcohol DUIs is the manner in which one is tested. In a DUI based on alcohol, you must submit to either a blood or a breath test. In a DUI based on drugs, you must submit to either a blood or a urine test. But you never have to submit to any test before you're arrested. Once you're arrested, it's a different story. So if you're ever pulled over on suspicion of driving under the influence of drugs, just try to remain calm and be as normal as possible. But probably the best advice I can give you is don't drive unless you're able to do so safely.